There it is, David. The Temple of Quills, resting place of the golden pencil, the writing utensil of the mythical Aztec author, Xolotl Tlantloc Ahuitzotl. Legend says he wrote these very mountains and this jungle into existence with this pencil.
And to think, all our studying and exploring has led to this moment, Donald. Our expedition through the desert of desolation, the mountains of malevolence, and the swamp of suffering is finally paid off. How do we pay for this expedition anyway?
Oh, I used up all the earnings from our ad revenue from Ritwit Inc. and detokenifiers and such.
Wait, all our earnings?
Yeah, but don't worry, it'll all be worth it with the golden pencil of the mystical Aztec author of Xolotl Tlantloc Ahuitzotl. You know how all these stories always end. The adventurer successfully obtained the treasure, keeps a hold of it against all odds, then reaps the rewards with all the wealth he's earned and will never, ever lose.
Well, I suppose you're right. That is how all those stories end. Alright, we're at the entrance of the temple. Look at all these skulls lining the walls.
Aw, how cool, it's like a welcoming party. Hey Skulls, how are you doing this fine day? How nice of the natives to leave these for us.
They certainly did leave these for us, Donald. Who cares about their own fascinating cultures and histories? The only purpose of all these native sites is for white dudes like us to excavate at our whim.
Oh, isn't that right, David? And look, we've arrived at our first challenge. One of the 3 tests in this temple to ensure those who obtain the golden pencil are worthy of its power. The idol of whom?
You dare to enter the Temple of Quills, home to the golden pencil of the legendary Aztec author of Xolotl Tlantloc Ahuitzotl. In order to pass, you must answer this sacred riddle. Unprepared souls, blank, enter, will meet their doom. Now, what word did I omit? Who or whom?
Wow, how thoughtful of the idol to speak the riddle to us in English.
David, you're the current champion of the Who or Whom game show, as of episode 7 of the Ritwit, world building not just for fantasy. Use your knowledge to get us through this!
Of course, Donald. Idol of whom? My answer is... who?
You are a prepared soul. You may pass.
Thanks, big scary idol. Now let's make our way deeper into the temple.
Yes, let's keep going. Ah, here we are, the second challenge. The Gate of Punctuation. A sentence is carved in these gates, with a textile missing that holds a punctuation symbol. Choose the correct symbol, and the gate will open. Choose incorrectly, and the floor will give way and impale us with spikes, and our bones will be eaten by a swarm of flesh-devouring spiders.
Whoa, are you certain?
Well, if it's like I read, or it'll open to a water slide that'll take us to a lake outside.
Oh, that sounds kind of fun, actually. But we must press onward. I can do this part, David.
All right, you're up then. The sentence is, this jungle is hot. Indeed, it's really, really hot. Once again, thoughtfully written in English. The missing textile is right after the first hot.
Okay, I can do this. Looks like all the punctuation mark textiles are in this chest. Commas, periods, colons. Aha! Let's do this one! Taking the textile, placing it in the slot in the gate, and BAM! Semicolon!
Wow, I would have guessed an exclamation mark.
That probably would have worked too. Oh well. Now on to the final challenge, the path of purple prose.
Whoa! Check out this chamber, it's so big and wide! And look! Donald, there's a golden pencil on an altar at the middle!
Look though, it's in the middle of all these tiles, each of them with some, thankfully, English words carved on top. Our journey across makes a story, and we must walk the path of the least excessive description. Every tile with an unnecessary or redundant phrase will collapse under our feet, sending us all down to a sacrificial pool of boiling magma.
Whoa, are you certain?
Based on what I've read, that or a pool of delicious hot fudge ice cream.
Ooh, sounds tasty. Alas, we must press onward to the golden pencil. I'll guide us across.
Are you sure, David? You're an accomplished NaNoWriMo veteran. Your stories can get pretty wordy.
Yes, but that way I know what purple prose is, so I'll be best qualified to avoid it.
Okay, be careful.
Of course, Donald. Now, follow me. The attractive young man stood before me. His eyes, a vibrant amber, like a forest in the autumn. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Take my hand, David!
Thanks, Donald.
Admit it, you were just picturing yourself in that description, weren't you?
I won't admit it, but I also won't deny it. All right, let's try that again. A vibrant amber, and his hair long and luscious. Oh, that's not me at all.
Focus, David. Put your egocentricity aside and focus.
Right. My heart skipped a beat as he smiled at me. His teeth wider than... Ah! Stepping back. Come on! That description wasn't that bad.
For you, maybe. Man, I'm really starting to hate this guy.
This is who you want to be, isn't it?
I won't admit it, but I also won't deny it.
Okay, one more time. As he smiled at me, I wanted nothing less than this man's heart, and nothing more than his soul. Okay, nope, not that one. And nothing more than to die in his arms.
I really hate this guy.
Never before have... Where's I? Come on. There we go. I ever seen such a perfect man and a perfect... One more should do it. Companion! We did it! We're across! We're over the path of purple prose!
Great. I wish I was over my astoundingly low self-esteem.
And look! Here it is! The golden pencil, the writing utensil of the mythical Aztec author Xolotl. I say we just grab it off the altar and get out of here without a hitch.
Sounds good to me. Don't see any way this could possibly go wrong.
Not so fast.
Oh no, it's going wrong!
You have completed the challenges admirably, young writers, but that pencil belongs to me.
I don't think so, Professor von Bildungsroman.
You children are not worthy of the power of the golden pencil of the mythical Aztec author of Xolotl. Give it to me right now, and no one gets hurt.
Hey, put the gun down! I'm just a kid!
You're 27 years old.
You just called me a child!
I meant it metaphorically.
Well, this isn't looking good, Donald. How are we going to write ourselves out of this one?
Write us out. Wait a minute, that's it! Grab the pencil, David, and use its power to write us out of here.
Oh, no, you don't.
Got it! Now I write this into reality. The two mats magically teleported back home!
No, don't do it! No! I'll get you next time, Mats!
We're back in our recording studios. The golden pencil saved us. I'm gonna lock it in my cupboard now and never use it.
That's probably for the best. Don't want to abuse such power after all. Still, we did it, Donald. We've obtained the golden pencil of the mythical Aztec author of Xolotl. We are officially better than you, listeners. Ha!
Ha! Indeed, David. Speaking of which, welcome, fellow nerds, to another episode of The Ritwit, the show where we live broadcast our archaeological adventures and obtain legendary writing artifacts. Or at least just one, but that's still better than any of you.
Absolutely right. We are totally better than you, listeners, and it's proved Now,
With the golden pencil.
a mystical Aztec author of Xolotl is ours.
Well, let's do a podcast to celebrate.
Yeah, about nothing with any content of that kind, but sure.
And, I mean, it's basically how all of our episodes are at this point. Totally unrelated thing at the beginning, like either skit or ad at the beginning.
I remember when we tried doing that, though. Like, we tried doing something that would tie in. At least I did. I don't know about you, but...
I never did. I'm glad you thought that I did, though. Alright, so how are you this month, David?
It's been a busy month. Just to explain a little bit for listeners, the culture in Japan is such that literally every year that you could think of changes, like, at the end of this month. So the school year, when the new school year starts in April, the new business year starts April 1st, all of that stuff happens at the same time. And so we're coming to the close of the business year, the fiscal year, all that stuff. Meaning that my supervisors at work and all the things that I'm being asked to do are winding down, but, you know, it gets pretty busy in the meantime. So I've been working a lot on that. Of course, there are some other things that go with that we'll talk about at some point later on in this set of episodes. But, you know, life keeps moving on whether we like it or not.
Indeed it does. Sounds crazy, but good luck with all that.
Yep, we'll figure it out. I mean, listeners will probably hear about it after April, and I'm complaining about all the new crap I have to do. Just kidding. We'll see.
Anyways, so what I'm up to, I've been on a crusade, I guess, to try and lose weight. I've cut off a lot of fast food that I used to eat a lot and eat more healthy, and just from that, cutting it off alone and watching my calories, I've lost 18 pounds so far.
Well, congratulations. That is amazing.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm pretty overweight, but now I'm not. I'm only slightly overweight. So I hope to be only a little bit overweight. Like someone at my height and age should be right at 200, and I'm about 30 or so pounds above that.
But I used to be like 50. You don't have to say what your actual weight is.
I'm
a
open
little
about
over that.
But I used to be like 50 pounds over it. So now I'm pretty good. Anyways,
well, getting
that's what
better.
I've been up to.
Yeah.
Should we go to our usual segment since this is the first episode of our new set of weekly episodes? It's time for us to do what we ripped off from this month.
Absolutely.
And you get to go first this time.
Oh, well, thank you.
No problem.
So I have been watching several different shows recently, but there haven't been too many that have like really inspired a bunch of writing. Like last month, I talked about Ultraman Tiga, and that was one of several shows that I've covered in the last month and a half time period. But the one that I'm going to talk about this particular time is a relatively recent show called Kamen Rider X-Aid. X-Aid is a really very colorful rider, and I mean that literally. His suit is freaking neon pink and green. It's awful.
Well, if you have a style.
If you have a style, no. Because it takes two very uncoupled concepts, that of gamers and of doctors, but it tries to honor both pieces in the show. Obviously, inspiration works differently for every single person. Any other person would do it differently. Just to throw this out, the entire show is scripted by the same writer, which in this day and age is astounding. Even more so when you consider that Japanese tokusatsu shows run for the course of a whole year as opposed to simple TV seasons.
This guy was clearly pretty dedicated to what it was he was doing.
Either that, or he had a very strong idea of what he was going to do before he even got to the official, like, oh, you're writing this for us phase, which is really neat.
That is really cool.
Anyway, this person tries to respect both main concepts. I won't say it's exactly equal, because one lends to the concept of Kamen Rider a lot neater than the other does, of course.
Right.
But the season could have just given up the ghost on one half, but didn't. I mean, so far. I'm about 2/3 of the way through it right now.
Well, we'll find out if it does give up on it next time, right? No.
I don't know if I'll bring it back up, because at that point I'll have moved on to something else that's hopefully inspirational.
It'll be one of the great mysteries.
The great mysteries of life. Watch it yourself, listeners. It's a great show. It does. I mentioned gamers, so there. I'll tell you a little bit about the gimmick. Each rider character has a certain type of game that they're honoring. So you've got the fantasy RPG, you've got shooter games, you've got platformers, that kind of a thing. It's really neat.
I do like stuff that uses video game tropes like that.
So maybe you'd like this show. I mean,
Maybe.
aside from the designs, because they are very, very loud. Anyways,
I'll
that's
get
what
used
I'm
to
going to
it.
rip off from just the idea that, these two sources may not, jibe together too well, but don't lose sight that it is a combination of these two.
Okay. That's cool.
How
Sounds
about
neat.
you, Donald?
Well, so I just recently watched this new Netflix original show called Love, Death, and Robots.
All the rage these days. I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's basically a series of unrelated animated sci-fi shorts based off of like short stories, and like a few of them are original, but most of them are based off of short stories. Apparently, the feed is can have different ways of how it's sorted per person. It's not always different. Like the way I have it is apparently how it is for a lot of people, but some people have the episodes in random order.
Oh, jeez. So like you watch episode 3 first, but it's listed as episode 1 or something.
Right, exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's
the first
crazy.
one on my feed is like this very violent and serious story about these alien creatures fighting in an arena with human pilots controlling them mentally on their sides. Is there a twist though? Who's controlling whom? Watch it.
Oh yeah, you got to find out.
It's pretty neat, but it's very self-serious, very bloody, and has a kind of a gratuitous bit of nudity at the end. So at first I was like, this show's cool, but it's kind of like a teenager that's like, I'm dark and edgy, take me seriously.
Oh
Like,
man.
look, I've got blood and boobs.
Speaking of gratuitous nudity, though, one of the shows I really like is called Garo is a series aimed at adults, and you can tell it's aimed at adults because literally within the first 2 minutes you see a topless woman on screen.
Nice.
Dark and edgy, take me seriously.
I just realized, though, after saying that last thing, that if I ever start a band, I'm going to call it Blood and Boobs. or a pub. That's a good name for a pub.
Man. Oh, boy. Do you have to hire women who are willing to work topless to live up to that promise?
No, the joke is that they're all men. That are really well dressed. And there's no blood whatsoever.
I was about to say you should do blood and moobs then. I guess I don't know.
No, it's part of the irony. Anyway.
Okay.
It's like the band Bare Naked Ladies.
I'm amazed you know about that band.
Of course I do. I was a teenager when it came out. So, anyways, so at first that episode's kind of like self-serious, and so I was like, okay, this is kind of neat. Like I love the designs of the monsters, and the fight was really well done. But I was like, this is kind of like, But then the next episode is this hilarious adventure of these 3 robots sightseeing a post-apocalypse city with some laugh-out-loud jokes and moments. And watching this, I was like, okay, this show's awesome. I realized that all these episodes are like different tones, different things. The only thing they have in common is that they're all animated. Actually, some of them have a lot of live action in though too. So that's not always true. They're all mostly animated with a lot of CGI stuff to them, and they're mostly sci-fi and fantasy. They're all sci-fi and fantasy. So
intriguing.
But the styles of animation can often be different too.
It feels like they just have different teams working on each episode.
They
which
do,
makes some sense.
but they're all produced by the main showrunners, which apparently are Tim Miller, who did the Deadpool.
Yeah.
The directed Deadpool, and he's a special effects guy. And also, who's the other guy? What is his name? Oh, he's a famous director.
He's so famous I can't remember his name.
David Finch. He and Tim Miller directed both, produced all these. But like, there's so many good jokes. So there's one in this three robots one. I'm gonna have to say this. So they find this basketball and they're like, what is this? Oh, it's an entertainment sphere, or a ball as they called it. Like it's like, what do they do with them? Oh, what didn't they do with them? They bounce them, and is that it? Yeah, pretty much. And this one robot's like, these are humans. Bouncing these things was like the pinnacle of their cognitive capability.
Oh my god.
And then this other robot's like, oh wait, no, actually I remember. They also hit them with sticks. And then this one robot's like, wait, like when they misbehaved? And this one robot's like, bad ball. Think about what you've done. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh. That does sound very amusing.
Anyways, the rest of it, watch yourself. And some of them are very dark and serious and scary. So, but that one was my favorite.
So there's your warning, listeners. Dark and scary.
Yeah, it's definitely mature. It's TVMA. There's a lot of, like I said, there's blood and boobs. And sometimes penises. So...
Gotta be even there.
So yeah, watch at your own risk.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically what I'd like to rip off from this, though, is that there's like, I'd love to write like a collection of short stories myself, like because a lot of these are based off of short stories. And I'm like, I could write a bunch and then just publish them in a single volume or something. Like that'd be cool. Like I have a lot of ideas that I'm like, could this be a whole story? Probably not. I could just do something little with it. So, like that one idea I did about like heaven and hell, where heaven was a planet that was like a gas giant, where there was like a Saturn thing, where hell was the fiery moon of it. That could be a short story. That could of a guy who's wandering on this hell moon and looking up and seeing heaven and knowing he could never get to it. That could be that's more of a short story than a big story.
Form tale. Really.
So yeah, that could be cool. And I have other ideas like that. So I guess basically I'd like to write more short stories. So that way in the next season of Love, Death, and Robots, they can adapt one of them. I better get on it.
I guess that means you better have robots in your stories then, huh?
Or love or death.
Well, I mean, love, death, and robots, right?
No, I'm going to have hate living organic creatures.
Suit yourself. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Especially, we'll see if you end up ridding it between now and next time or whatever. But until then, let's introduce our new topic for the set.
Okay, so basically, in this set of episodes, we're doing non-traditional forms of writing, like less mainstream.
Yep.
So, like, the 4 we're gonna do, just as a heads up, are this one's gonna be scripts and screenplays. I mean, you'll see it on the episode title. But then the next one is going to be, what was the next one? It was essays and blogs. That's right. And then after that is a song lyrics and poetry. Now, we already did one about poetry before, but this will be more into song lyrics.
For
and
more
a little
on
bit about
that, please listen to episode
22. Yep. And then the final one is scientific essays and nonfiction, but still funny, I swear.
Well, we'll try our best without just overloading it with random jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so we're going to do this thing about screenplays, and also your mom!
Wait, why are we... We're too early for that if we're doing the screenplay one. Whatever. Anyways, all right. So, yeah, we're going to do this pretty simply. We're just going to give a little bit of summary about these different styles, just our own thoughts, and then we have some tipperoonies for you on how to work these into your own writing. Part of the issue was we were trying to find a concept. Like last time, I'm sure you listened to episode 30 or any of those subsequent episodes about the alignment system, you know.
Thank you for not saying 30, ding, 31, ding, 32, ding. I was really afraid you were going to do that there.
You're welcome. But anyhow, we didn't have like a really defining theme for the entire set other than like they're all kind of similar. They're not as popular as prose writing.
Right.
This doesn't really talk about genre so much as the format with which you're writing. So keep that in mind.
Yes.
But anyway, we'll start with scripts and like screenplays and stuff. I know that Donald has talked about it for a long, long time about wanting to do his own stuffs. And
I have started a Megazoic script. I think I could probably reveal this because if it ever comes to anything, I don't know. But fun fact, the one I have currently opens up with narration from the Cortex.
Ooh. Intriguing.
So, what's the context? I don't know. No, there is context.
If you want more context on that, you should go to Amazon and buy his books there.
I mean, that's not how the book begins, though. So
that's not how the book begins, but just like what the Cortex is and why it might have such a
right. I guess
story.
that's true, but yeah.
So buy Megazoic on Amazon.com or Primeval Power.
Oh, shut up! No dings! No, there's already been too many.
I didn't say it. Anyway,
you already did one. Oh, you've done two actually. All right, let them come up naturally. Don't force them.
Well, speaking of your segues, then. Anyways, the thing that I wanted to say about writing scripts, if you'll let me go first, Mr. Eager Screenwriter.
Of course. I actually had a good segue there, but I decided to not do it. I wanted to follow the script!
Actually, it's pretty good.
Thank you.
Anyway, with script writing, obviously, dialogue is king.
Yes.
You know, because what we end up seeing, the characters, the only things that they're going to have to do is speak. You don't get into their heads so much. You don't do all of the prose type narration stuff that you otherwise do. Anything else within a script, you can have more quote unquote exact control over what happens.
Yes.
Compared to like prose, where imagination affects every reader's experience differently.
Right.
So you need to become familiar with the ins and outs of setting, stage directions, how to present those effects in the script while letting the dialogue stand on its own. It's really a nice way to get around long-winded descriptions of the character's posture and attitude as she or he speaks, you know?
Right,
and
exactly.
it does provide you good practice about making the dialogue the most important thing rather than, and there was a slight tilt in his brow as he looked into the sunset and thought of all the bad things that had happened to him or something like, I mean, come on. It's not bad writing, it's just unnecessary in a script form.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you might be able to bring some little details about it just to give, like, the directors enough of a thing to, like, okay, in this scene, we want you to you're feeling this, so try and convey that, you know, so...
But you could put those in stage directions just as easily, as opposed to trying to force it into the dialogue, because literally that's all the characters say, right?
Right, exactly. So, yeah, don't force it in dialogue. Yeah, definitely try to... I mean, or sometimes, you know, work the dialogue naturally, especially if it's like a play versus, like, a movie script, you know, because a movie script, you have the value, that's not the right word, the benefit of the camera lingering on certain things,
right,
or like and stuff. On scripts, it's all what's on stage and what the props and like what the characters are doing.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, there are multiple types of writing for scripts, and that's why we kind of separated screenplays from script writing. Here.
Right, and I also add scrapbooking in the title because it's another one that begins
alliteration.
SCR. So,
even though we won't be talking about scrapbooking at all.
Nope.
For more on that, listen to episode whichever where we did the nitwit. Oh,
that's not scrapbooking. Scrapbooking is like photos and like other.
I know what scrapbooking is different, but it's the most podcast relevant thing we've done on it. So I just
you're just forcing these things. I'm not going to edit in another ding. I refuse. We're going to say our dings now, at least for this episode.
Ding?
Thank you very much. The rest of the dings will be provided by you. Anyway. So, script writing. This is my basics of writing script sort of thing that would like start us off. For me, script writing is different from more traditional writing in numerous ways, obviously. Like, they're very precisely formatted. So definitely find a guide or a template that you can use to easily write your draft with. You recommended Celtics, is that what you said?
Celtics is the way
Celtics.
It, yes.
Okay, it's like the Celts, but not. It's like... so.
Spelled that way, but anyway.
And the general rule, at least for movie scripts, is that each page roughly equals 1 minute of screen time. So plan the lengths of your scripts accordingly based on that. But still, it's a good idea to write a script longer than you intend the movie/show or even play to be, as there will often be plenty of revisions or deleted scenes before the script is considered final.
Yay, director's cut!
Yeah. And if you have enough power, the writer's cut. There's no movie that has a writer's cut.
Sorry, I'm going to spoil a little bit of the tipperoonies here. I depending on what stage of the process you're at, you could consider yourself the director right now, but we'll talk more about that in a bit.
Well, it depends on like if you're there's a lot of movies where the director also writes it, so
that's true.
So yeah.
So that's our little summary about script writing. Obviously, there's more to be said, so let's give you some tips on that. Tipperoonies, as we usually do. Scriptaroonies. Okay, we go.
Yeah. Script tipperoonie number 1. Go. No, it's fine. So well formatted, but you got to follow the script.
I'm working on following the script. You just keep taking it off the rails.
But I will not tolerate any ad-libbing or anything like that. Even though we're doing it right now. No improvisation.
I will tolerate no typos.
Yes, thank you for quoting. I think it was Vuderon that said that.
Was it? No, I think it was Anra.
Oh yeah, it was Anra. Thank you. I need to read my own book. For more on that, listen to buy Megazoic on Amazon.com.
Ding. See, I didn't force that one so much. Anyway.
No, you're right. That one, it was, yeah.
my first scriptaroony. Even if you don't follow the standardized format right away, have a consistent one for your stage directions, your scene conditions, exterior coffee shop, for example, and all that stuff. I'd recommend doing this with text effects and or fonts, rather than like colors or something more garish.
Right. Well, most scripts are black and white, so.
But seriously, Celtics and other software exist, so please download those. It really does help. I worked with that particular program when I was in high school. Actually, is why I brought it up.
That's cool. I did a screenwriting class. I took one course on it in college. I actually ended up, the screenplay they ended up sitting in was the first 30 pages. You were supposed to do like the first 30 minutes of a movie. The first 30 pages of a Teslanos script. So I've had this idea for a while in my head. I remember there was a glaring error that I had in it though, because I hadn't upgraded. I hadn't done research on the 20s as much as I have now. And like I had these two characters go to a bar, and I'm like, the Prohibition was a thing. Because it was the 20s.
So for more about research, please look forward to our talk.
No, I refuse.
That wasn't a ding. That was a fog.
You're just trying to add in all these things because you don't have to edit them. I do.
You're absolutely right, but it's fun, isn't it?
For you, that's fun. That's
I was about to say, if it's not fun for you, then I should stop. But you never
this
said
podcast
anything.
is officially over. It's canceled. So
You never said anything until now. Why wait so long? Anyway, what you got?
You could see it in my eyes.
Scriptaroonie.
Okay, my scriptaroonie number one. Obviously, scripts are primarily for visual mediums like movies, TV shows, plays, even like webisodes and stuff like that. They
Comic books. Which they usually do scripting before they, do the page layout and stuff. So keep that in mind as well.
Right. Hold on. My garage downstairs is going crazy. People are
going crazy, or just opening.
People are opening and closing. They're opening and closing the door. I don't know what they do. I think they're getting the mail or something.
Maybe.
Okay, it's over. Anyways, so yeah, it's primarily a visual medium, but so don't worry about anything but the most basic descriptions for scenes and characters. Now, obviously, for like the first time you mention a character, you should be like, and this guy, and he did this, and it's not like, but don't be like, his golden locks, like swayed as he walked. I mean, actually, maybe you can do that if you're trying to convey a character thing for the actor to portray. Like I said, attitude for him to do, but just don't go overboard with it. Don't walk the purple prose path on this one. Otherwise, your script will collapse. This is that same episode, so we can.
Yes, it is.
So, we just came back from that, in fact. So
exactly, which is why you just made that reference. Anyway.
Yes. So, my heart's still reeling by that one time you went too far and I had to grab you.
Thank you for saving me. I'm sure you would have had less fun doing the podcast by yourself, although it probably would still be enjoyable.
I'd get someone else. I'd be like, "This is the new Matt David."
I'm eminently replaceable.
You're very expendable, David. No, that's fine. Alright, I need another guy named Matt! Preferably one with the middle name David.
Yeah, that's a really specific criterion, isn't it?
I'll take another Matt. It'd be really funny if I found another Matt Donald.
That would be hilarious.
You're Matt Donald number 2. Deal with it. It's crap.
Well, let's stop talking about those doomsday scenarios and start doing our scriptaroonies.
All right. I'm sorry. I was improvising there. I apologize. I was going off script.
Yes.
It's all right. It's okay for me to do it, though, because I'm the director and I'm allowed this stuff. It's not okay for you, though.
Are you done, or are you? Do I have a chance?
No, I gotta go on my. What is that thing that they do in Shakespeare things where they have to talk to the audience? What's it called?
Your monologue?
Soliloquy.
Soliloquy.
Yeah, I'm doing my soliloquy. So this guy, listeners. No. Anyways, describe a little. Don't go too overboard, but describe a little enough that the casting agents or production designers have something to go off on. But don't write as extensively as prose writing. I mean, of course. So that's my script wording.
There you go.
That took a long time. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, back to me. I guess I got another one here.
Yes.
Try not to over-regulate your delivery of these lines, like how they have to say it exactly. You are the script writer, director, producer for now.
Yes.
But when someone else takes hold of the character or that position, they add their own flair that may exceed your vision for it. They take ownership of it. So you don't have to italicize and underline and bold and all caps that one phrase in your draft just to get it across. The actor or actress adds that when they inhabit the character.
Right, exactly.
I
Makes
mean,
sense
yes,
to me.
it's good to have your own ideas about what kind of delivery you'd appreciate that line to have, but you should not force someone to have that same interpretation by doing all of these crazy text effects and font changes and stuff. It's a script. Somebody's going to read it in their way, even if it doesn't quite align with what you had in mind.
Makes sense. So my second scriptaroonie, don't feel like you have to rely entirely on dialogue for exposition. Even though it is a visual medium, you can, like, most of it will be through dialogue, but too much of it makes it clunky. Subtly acknowledge things the characters notice in the description. Or if it's a more fantastical screenplay, note world-building elements like clothes, banners, architectures, and societal norms in the description with capital letters, signaling to the directors that these are important. Like, that's always, if you have something that is important in your script that you want the director to emphasize, put it in all caps.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my experience.
Well, and they do seem to remember that they do that anytime a name is spoken too, because obviously that makes
especially the first time in prose, and then the description part that the character's name comes up, they have all caps. And also, like, a lot of times in what I've written on the Megazoic script so far, a lot things are capitalized that want to important to mean, like, specific names and locations and character groups. Like the Turanian Kingdom I mentioned is capitalized, especially the first time, and the character, and also I have their species that is capital, and it's capitalized too. So
well, sure.
So
one last tip, I guess, for me. Well, one scriptaroonie, I suppose. There are more things to say, but
there are certainly more things to say. There's always more to say.
There's. Hold the hands of your audience a little bit with the descriptors and such.
Yes.
Because they will make it happen such that you don't need to include it in your spoken lines. So, like, what kind of lighting should this scene have in your mind? Can they affect that? What kind of attitude should they have as they walk somewhere? You know, that kind of thing. With those, you can hold their hands a little bit and lead them along, because obviously when it comes to a final visual form, the audience should appreciate that without seeing those things, which means you need to be very exact with them.
Right.
It can be as anal retentive as you want in the early going. But here's a bonus scriptaroonie. Work on concise stuff in that vein to keep the page uncluttered so that your minute per page model is more accurate.
Right, exactly.
If your page is like all of this setting for the scene, you know, it's not going to take a minute to do, but you're also just going to inflate your page count unnecessarily as well. So,
and actually, you know, with the producers, if you bring in a 200-page script, they're going to be like, pass, like immediately, not even reading it. So, yeah.
So yeah, concise is good.
Yes, concise. It's preferred in the script writing business. So, for me, my last scriptaroonie, I also have a bonus one. I guess I'll say that first before I forget, because I thought of this as we were talking here. A lot of times, you can be creative with what you put into your scripts to try and convey the mood you're going for. I've read scripts where the screenwriter wants people to play music, certain songs and certain scenes that aren't going to be in the movie, but just, like, gives them
the state of mind to listen to it appropriately.
Yeah, while you're reading it, listen to this song. So, I've had that. So,
you know, if I remember this by the time we finally get to talk about lyrics 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
Remind me about song fix.
Yes, song fix. Those
because that's something worth throwing in that.
I will try to remember.
Anyway. Go ahead. What's your actual scriptaroonie?
What I was gonna say with that, like, in terms of creative stuff, I read apparently the beginning of the Logan script, that superhero, the last movie with Hugh Jackman, that's Wolverine. He begins it with, just as a heads up, if you're expecting another one where the Statue of Liberty gets blown up or there's like all these lightning and such, this is not your effing superhero movie.
No,
that's actually how the script begins. So. So it's pretty good. But anyway, so my actual last scriptaroonie, tip-aroonie, just to make sure people remember these are tips that we're doing. I don't know why they wouldn't, but context is key.
Matters, yes.
All right. Action scenes are primarily done by the director, so don't worry about describing action scenes too much in your script other than they fight. Now, if key things happen during the action scene, like plot-related actions or specific things you want the film to acknowledge, feel free to put them in, but don't go overboard. You're the writer, not the director.
So this strike that manages to leave a cut that will eventually end up using to beat the enemy for good might be something worth putting in your script. But other than that, how it happens is up to the discretion of the director.
Right, exactly. And yeah, they're the guys who deal with that. So, you're the writer, not the director. You guys work together. The director does not work for you. So...
Well, I mean, he tries to help you live up to your aims, I suppose. And as I said, in the early goings, before anybody else takes control of this, you are the director. But the script is not the place for you to put in all of those how they should fight scene. If you want to do that, write it in prose.
Basically. So, yeah, I mean, like... Yeah, no, like... But you bring up a point, though, like, that the script is where most movies begin. Like, before anything else in the movie is done, it is a script first. That the producer happens to look on and take a chance, and then the rest of the crew comes in. So, yeah, keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this is gonna be a shorter episode, but I guess it makes up for it with our mammoth of adventure at the beginning.
I was about to say, let's not forget that we still have that there too.
So yeah, this will probably be as long as any of the other ones, but. Well, I mean, after we've been doing this, like 40 to 50 minutes, so 40 to minutes.
We haven't done final notes yet, though, unless...
No, I know. I'm just saying that, like, we're going into the final notes. So if it seems short, it's still... Don't worry, listeners. I mean, you've listened to it all in the fully edited form at this point, so I don't know why I'm saying this.
I was about to say...
Well, I guess from final notes from a script perspective on my end, just like any genre, some people are going to be good at this format, others are not.
Exactly.
I think all writers should try doing something script-based in their careers. Why? Because it's so radically different from how you write prose. And it helps you take out the extra effort from your dialogue.
Right.
It's really good practice to work on a dramatic scene as a script without the bustle of all your narration. Make sure the dialogue is, paced well. Make sure it's not lagging in places. Just take out all the excess stuff to focus on what they're saying and give that scene its proper emotional weight. I mean, obviously, if you want to add it back in later, that's your business. But, in a script, there's no place for that, comparatively. Also, keep in mind, scripts can come in several forms, too. Not necessarily formats, but forms. You've got comedies, you've got plays, musicals, TV shows, opera, libretti, etc., and etc.
Well, like even video games, they have scripts,
That's true. And the voice actors have to record those lines, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
there are lots of ways to use a script, but the format for the script writing itself does not change.
Exactly.
So hopefully these scriptaroonies will come in handy.
And I hope they do. As for my final note, writing scripts is challenging. It's easy to feel bogged down by the formatting and trying to imagine scenes in your head and whether certain things are necessary or not and all sorts of other issues. However, just like any other form of writing, try not to get too caught up in these issues and just write to get it done. Worry about editing and fine-tuning the script after the first draft. You can do it. You can. I mean, I believe so. I want to do it. I'd love there to be a Megazoic movie, so I'm going to finish this script and hold on to it.
Cherish it. Cherish the process, right?
Exactly. So, that's it for this week.
Yes.
Is that, or do you have anything else to say?
No. I was just wondering if you were going to continue or not. You left this out.
Nope, we've successfully, succinctly covered everything you could ever want to know about script writing. No need to listen to any other advice.
I was about to say, if you need more information.
Nope, why would they need more information? We covered everything.
Sure we did.
Okay, what
if you have questions,
we're hypothetical, they need more information.
I was about to say, if you have any questions for us,
contact us. That's
awesome.
What we're doing.
It'd be really awesome if you decided to, send us an email with those questions or concerns. That way to contact us, by the way, is Matt D. There are 2 T's in the name Matt at MatthewDonaldCreator.com. And that's general questions, specifically script-related stuff for either co-host. Again, we have the same name and middle initials, so please specify which host you mean, unless it doesn't matter. There are also other ways to follow Donald over there on social media, which include...
Yes, if you want to follow me at Facebook, it's at Matthew Don Creator. And for Twitter, it's at MatthewDon64, and it's MatthewDon64 on Instagram. Why 64? Because that's how old I am. In months. Yep, I'm only 5 years old. I'm starting kindergarten later this year, David, and I'm so excited. I'm finally gonna be a big kid.
You know, you didn't wait long enough to watch Love, Death, and Robots if you're only 5.
I'm scarred for life. My developmental years are gonna be hell.
Well, and the other thing I'm thinking of, too, is didn't the professor say you're 27 something?
Oh, yeah, he did. Or she did. I forgot who it was.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
Don't worry, I'm a big kid now. I've got my pull-ups. That's a bit younger than I thought.
Oh, jeez. This happens on the Ritwit, where the show where us two twits talk about just about anything and
I want a
everything.
lollipop.
Including things that we really shouldn't be talking about. Anyway, thanks for listening. Until next time, keep writing, and we'll talk more about blogs, essays, and stuff next time, so we hope to see you then.
Yep, and give me a lollipop.
Until then, keep writing. I'm Matt David.
I'm Matt Donald. Get me a lollipop.
We'll see you next time, listeners. Bye.
Bye.